Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Well, we'll give it a few minutes to see if anybody can jump in. Hopefully the mic's picking me up. Okay, it's fortunately just using the phone. I don't have a lav or anything available for me at the moment. Yeah, funny motions. Hey, Eddie's here. Can you hear me, Eddie? Just nod if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? Is there anybody out there? Yeah, unfortunately I can't do anything to get it any louder. I'm very limited on resources, so I'm using my iPhone. I'm also pretty much in an echo chamber with the empty house. I'm in the back enclosed patio, which is kind of the only place that's didn't get destroyed or didn't get touched. But we have the new Geeetech A10, which, cool enough, is the whole printer. I thought that was humorous. You can hear me all the way up. Good. Sorry I can't get it any louder. Hopefully maybe there's a way to adjust it in post to try to do that. I will try to talk loud and boisterous. How's that? Let's see if anybody else shows up. I know it's dinner time for a lot of people on the West Coast, or they're stuck in traffic. Hopefully you got a good nap today, Eddie. Hey, Skewed Views here. Hey, we're up to two people. Ha ha ha. How are you, sir? Yeah, I'm going to. And Matt is here. I'm gonna slide my iPad over here in this corner. That way I can still kind of look at the camera and look at the chat at the same time. Passed out is good, Eddie, man. You needed sleep, and that was a good thing. 6 hours is good. I would kill for 6 hours of sleep, especially uninterrupted sleep, and I plan to get that tonight. Was the color varying? Oh, on the nylon mat? No, it was really consistent, at least on the spool that I had. After I dried it. When I printed it before I dried it, besides spitting out quite a bit, the color did seem to drift a little bit. Maybe it was the water vaporizing out or whatever, but after I dried it, it was very consistent. I still have the dog bone somewhere, but I mean the video's up and there's some pretty clear pictures of Kona playing with the bone in the video. You could probably scan through that really quickly and find them if you wanted to see how the color came out. So, I don't have a lot of time, otherwise I'd wait for more people. Hey, Filament Frenzy, how are you, man? But don't have a lot of time to to wait for other people, so hopefully they can catch it on the replay. I just wanted to get this thing undone before I have to meet the wife for dinner. Apologize, I'm just streaming from my camera. It's not the best view or the best angle, but it's all I've got right now. So this is the Geeetech A10, which looks to be a very close competitor to the Ender 3. Size, feature-wise, it is also branded as being open source. Not necessarily open source hardware certified, but they do say that it's the control board is open source and that it runs standard Marlin, etc., etc. There's a link, should be a link in the description if it posted and went down there correctly, over to the printer, and there's actually a discount, or that's a discount link if anybody's interested. I think it's running on sale for about $189 right now. So price-wise, it's comparative to the Ender 3. So let's take it out and see what it looks like. So handy dandy, don't cut yourself knife. Dun, 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 dun. All right. On top, we have a instructional flyer. We'll set that aside. And let's see if I can get that tilted up. The box is much bigger than the A30, and I believe this is actually more assembled. So let's toss the foam aside. So it looks like we have the frame, which from the bottom looks very much like the A30, the control box, the rubber feet, 40/40 and 20/40 for the crossbeam on the X. It has the glass bed surface. Actually, let me set this box down and see if I can get this zoomed in, or get this closer to the camera. So it has the glass, what do you call it? The nanoparticulate glass that everybody's using these days. Very similar stepper motors and wiring. USB port on the front, no memory card slot, and a shielded ribbon cable going over for the LCD. Cable bundle with a cable wire tie here. If I can rotate that so you can see that. There's like a cable clamp there to keep that a little bit organized. So the wiring does look a little bit neater. Same XT connector for power. But the wiring does look a little bit neater than the Ender 3. Everything else looks very similar. I mean, as far as construction-wise and parts-wise. At least on the base. So let's set that down and see the rest of it. Got more foam. Yeah, it's very, very similar. Okay, so going back into the box, we've got the accessories bundle. We'll go through that later. One of the cool things that you get with any Geeetech product that you don't get with anybody else is a mouse pad. You can never have too many mouse pads. So we've got the power supply. It looks very much like the Ender 3s as well. And we have, I need 3 hands to get this out. The last piece here, the gantry itself is already assembled, and it looks very much like the Ender 3 as well. The same style arm here. It's got the 3 wheels on either side. The extruder is already on. Same style belt clamp as the Ender 3. Same style extruder, the Mark 8 extruder. And rather than that plastic cap, it has a little acrylic cover, which kind of gives you an open view so you can actually get to your belt a little easier. The stepper is similar but different. this has a fan on the side rather than inside on the front, so it looks like it's got a 40 millimeter there, and it looks like instead of the proprietary hot end that the CR10 has, it has an E3D-ish, we'll go with ish, hot end on the inside. So this is good. This means it should be basically 4 screws to put it together. Power cord, and let's take a look at the accessory bundle. Matt, right now it is $189 on sale at the link that's in the description. So it's right on par, and it looks like I'm missing a few parts here that maybe are still in the box that I missed. There we go. It was in the top piece. So the LCD screen, it has the 2040 LCD as opposed to the graphical display that the Ender has. It looks something like that. And one thing I do like is this has a full size, not a micro SD, but a full size SD card slot on the side of the LCD. And the Ender 3's is that micro SD on the front, down under the bed, which is kind of difficult to get to if your bed is pulled forward. So that is an improvement, in my opinion. There. And to be honest, I actually like the menu system of the 2040 LCDs better than I do the graphical LCDs. I've gotten used to them, so they seem more intuitive to me. So we have 4 screws, an SD card, blue filament. Yeah, it is definitely more assembled. I mean, literally it looks like 4 screws for that. There's another bag of screws here. Extra nozzle, a acupuncture style needle, and Geeetech's pusher tool, hex keys. We're going to need these. So this is something, and I don't know if it'll show up well on camera or not, that Geeetech includes with their printers that I really like, and I haven't seen anyone else do. Of course, it's taped together, so I can't get it. Let me see if I can get it to show on camera. It's basically a 0.5 millimeter stainless rod with a little bit of a handle at the top here. The Wanhouse used to include like a hook this diameter, but basically if you get filament jammed, you can push it through with this from the top. I really like that, and they're very handy to have. Filament holder, slightly different style, and a couple more screws. And that's about it. And of course a USB cable. So we'll toss that over there. Assembled in the Longhouse now. Yeah, so it looks like all that we have to do is bolt the power supply on, bolt the bracket to the frame, and bolt the LCD on and plug in the connectors. And screw the other piece on the top. Again, it comes with the glass. I can't think of the word for the folks that started that. I keep thinking Alpha-Wise, but it's not them. Where the glass is actually glued directly to the heat bed with the black nano stuffies on it. That makes it a little bit easier. So let's grab our directions and see what it says to do. Upper gantry by 5 millimeters. Springs, PSU kit, blah, 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 blah. Okay, use 4 M5 5 millimeter screws and spring washers, which are these guys, I'm assuming. Yep, to attach the frame. So let's do that. We'll slide this guy over hither, as opposed to yonder. Let's turn this up a bit just so it clears the bed. It was set low for packaging. While I'm looking at this, there is eccentric nuts on both the left and the right hand side, here and here, and I'm sorry I don't have the best camera angle. Let me see if I can try to move that to get you a little bit better view. Let me see. Not sure if that's any better or not, but I'll try to keep things up. Okay, so that is the back. This is the front. So it's going to go in this orientation. And put our screws through the holes. See nothing of the printer. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's caught up yet. I'm trying to get the camera or the phone where you guys can see it without it falling over. It is a compromise here. Let's see if I can. Let me do this. It does. You want Todd? Yes, it has an ultra basis style bed. That was the word that I was looking for earlier. Hey, thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that. I will have a drink on you, possibly two. I can definitely use one tonight. Okay, so let's see if I can turn this over. We'll get the other two in. Make sure that I don't pitch into the cables. Thanks, Tom. All right, found the hole for all four of these, so let's tighten these down. Or did I find the hole? Maybe I didn't get the hole. Okay, I think I missed the hole. There we go. Now it's in the hole. That feels much better. Woohoo! Hey, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Tom, you are a good man as well. I'm counting on you to create a profile for this thing, Tom. Which, by the way, your CR10 profile is working great on the Ender 3, the one that you put out this morning. All I did was leave it exactly intact and just shrunk the size down for the Ender 3. See, now if I was using power tools, this would be done already. Oh, you have a one just for the Ender 3. Awesome. Even better. I think retraction settings on this guy will be a little bit different than the Ender 3, but it should be very similar. And who we just have jump in there? Is it ready 1, get 34? Oh, red light 34. There we go. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you can see enough of that in the frame. There, let me try to back it up. Does that get you a little more? All right, so yeah, very, very similar. In fact, we'll set it right next to the Ender when we get it done. and we'll look and compare the differences and see how it looks. And we'll push that in there, the PTFE tube in. One thing I noticed right away is the whip for the hot end is on a connector. It looks to be like a Molex mini fit or an ATX style connector there. I can't really get any closer to the camera, but so that'll connect up to the control box. There's also a strain relief on the back of the bed. I'll get you a zoomed in picture of this after we get it together. I'll basically bring the camera over and kind of give you a quick zoom through. So those are in. We need to mount the LCD. So let's turn it this way. Try to get it to sit flat. Okay, so this is we used to call them ZIF connectors, I think, but I forget what they're called now. Same thing that a laptop uses. You push it out, and kind of pushing it in just self-tightens it. Let's see if it shows a picture. Blue side is on the bottom. So if that's down, blue side is on the bottom. So we'll push that in. We'll lock it down. And we'll flip that over. I wish that cable was a little bit longer. So we'll set it there. Two M510. M510. Looks like there's washers on there, so let's go for washers. Of course, like with all these, there's extras. I'm on the fence there, Eddie. This is actually looks to be. I would need to research it, but this actually. So I'm honestly a little bit on the fence about that. But I would need to research it a little bit further. If it's a standard mini fit, and I'm grabbing the wrong size screws here. It's these guys, that's why I couldn't find it. This is what it looks like. It's hard to do this backwards when looking at it from the other side. Or is it these guys? There we go, there's one. And I don't think we'll be printing by the end of this stream, just because I do have to meet the wife for dinner here in a bit. But I thought we'd see how long it takes to put together. And so we've put a total of 6 screws in so far, 4 on the bottom, 2 on there. And I believe our only other 2 screws are for the spool holder on top. And there's a whole bunch of extra screws. And those are in here with the T-nuts. Oh, and the power supply, that's right. We need to attach the power supply. So this is based on Geeetech's A30 platform. It's just a I don't want to say it's a miniaturized version of that, but it shares a lot of the same components, including the hot end and the extruder, which I'll show you when I give you a zoom through. But there's a bolt hole here where you could actually add on an out of filament sensor that's on a pivot arm. It's got a ball joint and a pivot arm here, so that as your filament spools off, it can actually get that better angle into it. And their extruder is a little bit different than the CR10s, so we'll take a look at that, and I'll point out the other differences here. I'm sorry, not the CR10, the Ender 3 and the CR10, I guess. And I believe that's the wrong size. There we go. So we get this on, then all we have to do is get the power supply on, plug in all the connectors, and we'll be good to go. And we'll do that satisfying peel of the bed. I like the XT, I like the XT30 and the XT60s very much. I use those on my G-Max when I retrofitted it. They're a great high current connector, and I'm not sure why anybody would not like them, to be honest. As is always, we're going to make sure our power supply is set to the proper voltage. In my case, it is 115. This is a 24 volt, 15 amp power supply. And we are going to need proper size screws, which look to be these guys. And these guys. Okay, so it looks like we have to remove the rubber from here to get to that. Just gonna go through there. I don't think we need the lock washer on there. So we'll do these one at a time. Just get it started. So it's slightly less assembly than the Ender 3, not significantly. I mean, with the Ender 3, all you pretty much had to do was attach the crossbar. Other than that, it was very similar, and that is the wrong size one. I should have got out the power tools, but everything's packed away. Hey, John, how you doing? Anybody else that I missed that came in? Imagination to Form, Wellbot, welcome everyone. All right, so that top one in there. I'm going to leave it just a little bit loose. We're going to pull out the bottom one. And pull this up. So just for fun and games, the Bowden tube makes it all the way across on this. It is not too short. We'll roll this up past that split. So I can pull out the bottom section. Oh, and the hole's way down there. All right. There it is. Was Jimmy getting out the drill? I'll do that, but usually if I do that, I'm gonna have my lav mic on, and so I can mute it. I don't like to subject anybody to that torture if they don't need it. But since I'm having to do this from the phone, just to keep it doable at the moment. Possibly I'll give you guys a quick tour of the house behind me here, since it's all gutted out, and show you guys the progress too if you'd like. Let's see. The workers are going slow. They're doing what they can, but they're at the mercy of the insurance company, of course. And okay, I gotta rotate this so I can see the hole. Okay, assembly-wise, that is it, except for the spool holder, which is up on top, which will eventually go away, but we'll test it out as is. And then we just need to plug in the power connectors on the back, and we can put some juice on it. I can tell you right now that the bed size is rated to be the same as the Ender. However, I believe this is taller, just looking at the two side by side, and we'll I'll pull the phone out and we'll take a look at them. Yeah, everybody seems to like the spool holders on top, and I guess it's not as bad for a smaller printer like this. It's probably not as bad, but when you get to like a CR10 or a Gmax size printer, Eddie, I think it may be, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain if it's an affiliate link or not. So I don't know the answer to that. It may be. It's the link that Geeetech had provided to me, and I know I'm part of their affiliate program, but I don't know if that was an actual affiliate link or just a product link, to answer your question. So let me snip this wire tie. It did not come with a set of flush cuts, but fortunately